What's going on, teamers? Welcome to DigiPod, the digital podcast. I'm your boy Varney, today in the studio with my one and only, my day one, my ride or die. That's my boy Dan sitting across the screen from me. No guest today. That includes no Mike. Mike's a guest. Don't let him fool you. He couldn't be on today.
Just the two of us, this time around, the dynamic duo, some would say. Or
just the two of us.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Oh, man.
It's going to be a good time today.
Some might say dynamic dumbasses or something like that.
The dynamic dumbasses? The double Ds.
Hey, yo. That can be taken out of context.
That's exactly the way it was meant to be taken. What's going on? It's your boys, the double Ds. Hey, for what it's worth, I don't know if you ever knew this about me, about my middle name. God. You want to take a guess?
What is it? Don't say it's Daniel also.
My middle name is Daniel.
Oh, is it really? I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, you're Barney Daniel Yearwood. Yep. I am. Damn, I never realized I'm officially part of the Council of Dans now. Fuck.
No, we don't count middle names. We don't count middle namers.
Hey, don't you deny me my entry, sir. I was born this way. It's
like saying how dare you deny me being like Spanish with like 5% Spanish? That's you right now.
That's a fact. Hey, so my ethnic makeup, I am. Well, first of all, I'm a mutt. I am 30%.
So, am I French with like a 0.1% French or something? Do I count as French? Should I be saying parlez-vous français or some shit? Like,
hey, if you learn the language, you might as well sling it around. You know what I mean?
Sling it around? Jesus Christ.
Hey, parlez-vous français?
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I am 30% Nigerian.
Makes sense.
30%. No, sorry, 60. It's like, so I'm, India is, well, first of all, India is fucking big and there's like multiple different like ethnicities.
Yep.
So they conglomerated it and I'm like 16% like Northern Indian. Basically, like, and then like 16% Southern Indian. So I'm like equally split between the just North and South, let alone God knows how many like of the, I don't know anything about. I
learned a little because of my ex-coworkers.
I was born and raised black, like straight, obviously Caribbean, but like predominantly black. So the only thing I know about like the Indian part of my culture is like Trinidad related stuff, which is mainly the food related stuff.
It's wild to think that like, so just based off of your heritage, I don't know much because I never really like delved into that, culture. So like Trinidadian is like Indians in them there. So like they were like they were originally Indians and then it was mixed with like blacks. Is that what it is?
No, Trinidad is a mutt. Trinidad is like, you could probably call it the melting pot of the Caribbean, to be honest, like the United States of the Caribbean, because they are like a little bit of everything. Like,
is it the same thing as like Puerto Rico? The goddamn Spaniards just brought like,
Yeah, it was so for us, it was the English.
The Portuguese,
it was the English.
Whatever, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was the English. Trinidad was actually owned by England up until like the 1940s, 1950s, Damn. I believe. But yeah, so you've got French in Trinidad. You've got what's it called? I'm forgetting all the different subcultures. India is obviously a very big one, probably the biggest one. But you also have obviously a good portion of African American, well, not African, it's Africans. What else I'm maybe? Oh, Chinese. There's a very large Chinese culture in Trinidad, as well as. I know, right? My dad is part Chinese. Like my dad is like predominantly black, but he is like his mixture is probably something like, I don't know, 80% black, and then like other part like the mutt-ism in Trinidad, but like the largest part of that mutt-ism is China or Chinese.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it is. Trinidad is a fucking melting pot of people. So I grew up never know. My mom, my mom. All right, so let's delve. If you guys came here for Digimon podcast, we'll get there. But you're gonna learn a little bit about Varney today. So my mother's father is predominantly Hispanic. He's from Venezuela. My mother's mother is from India. So there's what she is. You could say she's half and half, but she is much more skewed Indian than she is Venezuelan. But she's a mixture of Indian and Hispanic, with that in mind. My dad, on the other hand, he is a mixture of, I don't know exactly what his mixture is. I can't remember, but I know it's predominantly African with the little mutt-isms of Trinidad. Because his father was born and raised in Trinidad. I don't recall where her parents were born, if they were born in Trinidad or if they came over or whatever. Now for me, yeah, I'm basically like, I'm 30% Nigerian. That's like my biggest slice of the pie, but I'm something like, I want to say like 50% like African in total. Like when you count all the African all the African countries. Yeah. And then 30% Indian. And then the 20% is like all the other bullshit. There's some like English in there. There's, and when I say English, I mean like England. I can't remember. I have to like look at my report because I don't remember shit now. I just remember like Nigeria and the 2 parts of India. So growing up, the only thing I ever knew, my dad's black. I'm obviously tan. I'm light like my mother. My mother's a little bit lighter than me actually, but my sisters are both dark skinned black. So the duality of growing up and being like the light skinned bunch of of the trio of siblings.
You were the Drake of the family.
don't call me the. I don't want to be the Drake of the family. All right,
you're the light skinned one.
Listen. Me, I want to be no Drake of the family, boy. Me, you see me. I black in heritage. I black in my mind. Yes.
Oh my God.
I take pride, but no, I take pride in. I've always taken pride in being black, even though my skin color doesn't reflect that like I'm black. Many people mistook me for a Hispanic, which kind of hurt. As a kid, I was like, oh, they're black. I'm black. You know, like, I don't know if anybody else listening ever like felt that way growing up in like a multi-ethnic house. If you did, for me, I was like, it was something that like growing up, I was like, oh no, especially going to school in Center City where, yeah, there are minorities, but specifically there were more Hispanics. So it's like, here's everybody else. I'm like, no, like I'm me. I'm not, you know, in my kid mind, I'm like, I'm not like everybody else. No, I'm black, but I may not show it, but I'm black. At the time I didn't have the hair because I always used to get buzz cuts. That's why I don't fucking cut my hair now. I fucking hate buzz cuts. Oh my goodness. They make me look, you don't want to see me with a buzz cut. I look like, I don't know. I don't even want to describe what I look like. Let's not revisit that time of Varney's life. I keep my hair now so that I can have some kind of like sense of personality within myself. That's why I don't like to cut my hair that much either. I know I have to get it like trimmed. Finding a barber that you like, badass work. So,
I feel you.
So that's why I've just been in the bathroom and fucking trying to maintain this shit myself. I know at some point I'm gonna have to find a barber. I'm gonna put it off as long as I can. But yeah, no, Trinidad.
See, I don't have like, I do have a whole hand vibe.
Yeah, you are.
So I have.
Yeah, you are.
So because I'm half Greek. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm half Greek and technically half Puerto Rican. AKA, like my like DNA is legitimately like 50, it's like a little less, but it's basically 50% straight Greek. And then the Puerto Rican side is the mix of like 20 different fucking things. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like Puerto Ricans are the same concept where is a mix of blacks, Native American, Portuguese, Spaniard, Spanish, and all that. So like I have all that. I also have like I think it was like technically like if I put them together about 10% black. I have a Balkan in it. Like Balkans, they don't extinct the race. So, like you know what I'm saying, which is kind of cool.
Right.
Like, I have that. And then small amounts of like things that here and there. The other big amount is like Native American, Puerto Rican Native Americans. So those are Taino Indians. That's what it Tainos. That's like the tribe that's mainly in Puerto Rico. And then the other big one's like
you are indigenous.
I am indigenous. That's correct. It's like 15% indigenous, something like that. So like if I were to like do the whole like Native American thing where you can like sign up and whatever, I can like like get the tag, whatever it is. I forget what it is. Like
you can go to those like those casino preserves where it's like
yeah, because I meet the requirements of a minimum Indian, Native American, I should say. Yeah, and then there's like a whole bunch of other stuff, like small whites, like I said, French. I think it was one of them, and it was like some other like random white country thing. I was like, how is this possible? But it's like Puerto Ricans, you know what I'm saying?
It's easy, yeah. When they bring people over, you know, it's like, ooh, I like this.
If I go on my
I'm about to be real out of pocket. they're like, ooh, you looking kind of spicy.
Clap it out. Oh my god.
And that's how we got our European heritage.
Yeah, right. So like how you explain like your like obviously my dad's side it's just all Greek. There's no Greeks don't play. They don't like they're like if you're not Greek, you ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? Like they stay within their people's like their culture. Well, like my mom's side, like my mom is my skin complexion maybe a little darker, but then like her parents, I remember my grandmother, she was dark. Like she was like if you didn't know, you would have thought she was a black woman. That's how dark she is. And then like my grandfather was probably like my skin complexion or a little lighter supposedly. And so that's how you can see like the white, I guess, maybe part was from his side mainly, versus like my grandmother's probably more Native American than anything because she was like, I don't know, she was probably like closer to half and half, like because she was straight up like Native American, like bone cheeks that are like high bone cheeks, like very Native Americans have very distinctive features.
Yeah, for sure.
Know who they are, type of thing. And so, yeah, so it's very different on my side. But like you knew they're all Spanish. It's just Spanish people, just like I guess Trinidadians, they come like all shapes and sizes and colors. And
it's because of South America, man.
Yeah, I seen so many. I had a friend from college. She was pale white and like dark hair though.
But she was Hispanic.
Bro, if I heard her voice, I would be like, oh, that's a Spanish woman. I see him like, that's not a Spanish woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how white she was. And like, and I've seen like the darkest of dark skins, like, you know, speaking Spanish, I'm just like, proud of you know. So like, I grew in a sense of the mix of, are you black or are you white? Or
right.
you're too dark for us white people, but I'm too light for you black people. I'm like, I know I'm neither, so that's not like an issue to me. Yep. But I always got thrown into, you know, to the white people. I was like, oh, he's a black kid. You know what I'm saying? Just because.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say racism, but I've dealt with racism in my life here in PA, especially. So, whatchamacallit, it was always funny. And then like playing games, my dumbest had my PSN name until you were able to change PlayStation names was Afro Man, and that was, you know, that when I made it, it was when like I had the fro was crazy. Like I had like my hair was probably like close to the longest. This last time that I had it, Well, there was another time I had it even longer, and at one point it was like it was always sticking up, so like it was easier to like keep as a throw style, and so like COD back then was a wild time, like that.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Didn't help that my whole clan was black people too.
Real Afro man there, boy.
Yeah. Oh man, funny time.
So I was looking up some stuff about Trinidad. So it's Creole is like a very heavy part of the culture of Trinidad.
That's their,
which makes sense, obviously, because
that's
it's
the
Caribbean.
language, right?
No,
Trinidadians speak Trinidadians.
But Trinidadians speak Trinidadian, boy.
Yeah.
So, and it makes sense though,
Jamaicans.
because the culture is so like so diverse. I always say like I can do like a touch of a British accent, and then like it slowly morphs into my Trinidadian accent. And I always like I never really like connected the dots before, but I feel like that's because like generally speaking, if you listen to a British person talk, you listen to a Trinidadian person talk, the accents actually sound very similar, like the intonations of the speech and everything. But the way that Trinidadians speak is it's so much ingrained in my mind because of my parents. So like every time I try, I'm like, I can do like my what do they call it? Like your kicker sentence? I can be like, do you like a cup of tea? And then like yeah, like every sentence after that is like, nope. The British is gone. Here comes the Trinidadian. But
I grew
the
up
melting pots of minorities.
Straight up New York, so like I definitely didn't have any outside influence.
I'm surprised
on my language.
I'm surprised you don't have the New York accent. The New York
bit.
accent.
If you talk to like people who are like not from New York, they would assume I have a New York accent.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't hear it at all. But then again, I suck with hearing accents.
But mine is not like obvious as I guess you could say, just because my I guess it's one of those things like you have to hear New Yorkers talk, and then you're like, oh, you do hear the certain things like how I say water or some shit. Like I emphasize on that part, like the water, you know what I'm saying? Like, or like it sounds like it has that part. That's more about New York.
To like listen really closely, yeah.
And just certain phrases that they say that are like a little emphasis on certain parts, like cold cuts. You never hear anyone say cold cuts, you know what I'm saying? It's a one word thing. It's just certain like small things that I will say that I guess people will notice, or for playing.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that's if you came here for Digimon Pod, we are
what Digimon?
And you got to know a little bit about Barney and Dan. I'm gonna talk about locals. Wink wink. He did show you BB. I ain't talking about locals.
Yeah, because you never go.
Oh my dick.
Oh my god.
1v1 me pushing.
I ain't scared of you.
Better be. With these store regionals coming up. If we face each other, I hope we skirt each other and end them. But if we face each other, I got no love. It's hands.
You actually thought I had love for you? Period? Jesus Christ. Man, who's this? Anyways, locals. We had a super small locals. Yeah, like a beautiful 4-man local. Terrible. Anyways, so I decided to play Purple High. I put it back together. See how it felt with the band. Matt hurts, obviously, and then one Jack rate is like oof at time. But with my current iteration, I kept it like, the way Purple Hire works. I didn't add anything different just yet. I have some ideas I'm cooking with. I just not fleshed out yet to see what can I actually do with it. But that's what DCGO is for. That we'll try out.
Oh yeah.
And so I just replaced those 7 to 8 cards with things that's already in the deck, right? I just basically maximized on Death Slingers. I maximized on Rivals Barrages. maximized on no, not maximized. I actually yeah, I put up Miss Memory Boost up to 4 as well. I added another Koichi. I put a starter deck ad in it. I put something else. And then I switched out some of the what's it called, the rookies, because of Royal Knights. So I was like, all right, if I fight Royal Knights, I know I should have Psych Monster in the deck over Gazis. So I think I did like a 2-1 split of Psychs and Gazis, or 3-1. I don't remember exactly, but I just know something like that. The deck still feels really good, honestly. Obviously, the way you have to loop is different, and your burst turns are not as, you know, crazy, because there's no mat to loop things easier. But you can still do things if you have, you know, Koichi, the newer Koichi plus 2 Duskmons. You can keep looping. Which is cool. Obviously, you need to have multiple tamers on board to be able to do that, because you're not, you know, not playing a mat to grab back a dusk, right? You're not keeping the same tamer count on board, because and the same thing. So that's only for when attacking. So you have to have multiple if you want to keep doing it, or you have, you know, that one. So you tackle that one first, have one trash, swing, grab it back, go off, and then even over your other Koichi, stuff like that. So your turns has to be a little bit different. You're more reliant on your rookie swings as well, I think, because the chip damages matter, because you have them at a lower what's it called, security count, to do like your OTK turn. Like my best OTK turn I had was probably them at being like 2 or 3 security. Prior, I was able. Oh, you're at 4. This is light work, you know. I've definitely had that before. Milling is a little harder just because you can't consistently, you know, get to those as easily, just because there's no master evo over. You have to manage your resources better. And guess what? Because I'm good with purple, I'm actually a good purple hybrid player. I was popping off like crazy, doing the works with it. Again, now is more of a more managed resources style deck, right? Because you can't go rookie in the back and, you know, go to what's it called, Koichi, trash a mat, and then have mat ready for later, right? And then that one mat can just infinite recycle your resources. Now you have to make sure, all right, I need to have arrivals on board already. I need to have a Miss Mem boost on board as well, possibly, so I can grab multiple and keep turn often, because there's no jack raids either. So that one jack raid, you better save it for a clutch time, because if you get it early, like I had a game, I had a, you know, opening hand. My one-ups in that deck was always stuck in my hand as per usual. So jack raid's another one-up, so now it's stuck in my hand. And I had an early game, I was like, I can't use this until, man, hopefully late game. And I got to the point where I was like, all right, 20 cards. All right, this is the perfect time to use this jack raid. Now I have enough memory to go Dustmon, swing, and so on, right? It's definitely more about managing resources, like I mentioned before. And then, you know, what the board state looks like. I think promote is going to be even more important than it was prior, because again, you know, it's harder to do things now. So sometimes you just might not be able to go and like dust into Velgers to promote more, I think, just based on like the interaction I had were like a little different because of it. Rivals was clutch and Death Slinger, because Rivals lets you grab your purple stuff back without using your Koichi effect,
right?
Which is important to me at times. And honestly, just because the way the deck is, and you still pop off. I had a turn against, you know, I went, all right, cool. I evo to Uko in the back, raised, hatch, evo to zero calls Uko, swing that Uko, Louis, keep turn, raise the other Uko, gain another memory, have another Uko in the back. You can just Uko rush someone to death too. You know what I'm saying? Like you still have that ability to be able to do
this
that.
Man's
Plus
still
you tamers.
Abusing. This man talks so much shit about Ukomon, but look at him abusing my boy.
Hell yeah. Hell to the yeah, man. What else? So yeah, you still have that obviously. Um, again, I think it's still a good deck. It's just a matter of you can't just be willy nilly, just doing dumb shit anymore. You know what I'm saying? You have to be smarter with it, which I kind of like. And I played against dinos. All right, cool. I'm bum rushing. Oh, Lament is also pretty important to grab back sometimes a Gallon or Medieval piece now. So that actually popped up a game. And it's just another way to grab a Duskmon if you need it. And, I did just try to keep him from getting to Dino. And he got to Dino. I'm like, all right, cool. You gave me 4 memory. Cool. I have many ways to gain memory currently with, it was like Gavumon. I had a Miss Mem. Matt on board, Koichi, the deck can just facilitate a lot of memory itself without needing Jack Raid. I had games, obviously, no Jack Raid was used in the destruction of dinos, you know what I'm saying? I put them back to the Ice Age, you know what I'm saying? But all jokes aside, it was, I had a game. I was like, all right, cool. How much cards you got in trash? 15. I got 15. Cool. We'll play this Galamon for, 1 or 2. Whatever it was, kill your dino. All right, cool. You play it back, kill my Gallon. That's perfectly fine. Guess what? Now I could go Deathslinger you because I'm at 6. Kill dino, go into my hybrids and like pop off. So you have to do things obviously a little bit different than you wouldn't have previously, because it was harder back then. But again, it's about managing resources more now. And got the game. Game 2, same thing happened. He got to Dino pretty fast, I think it was. But, all right, how do I deal with this faster? Oh, you did 3 checks? You just gave me 3 tamers? Bet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so one thing I hate about playing against fucking hybrid decks, you feel like you're safe because you're like, yeah, my shit won't die in security, but then you just give them tamers and you're just like, I'd rather have died in security.
The worst it was like the worst he hit first, it was a Matt and then a Koichi, and then like Koichi effect, trash card, Matt will gain a memory, and then like I think pass turn more or something like that. I don't remember what it was. And then obviously Matt's a memory setter, so I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And I have that as a 1 of. Maybe I'm willing to consider bumping that to 2, but I think that's a little hard for me to do just because like it doesn't do the same thing that as like other Matt obviously did. But there's some cool things you could do with it. Yeah, so and then I like popped off the next turn. And then played Dexter Gora. They want you to have something on board so they could talk to you and then they can, block Evo for free to like Doragora, do their shenanigans, right? Like purple hybrid, you don't care. Downside is a counter because they could pop tamers. And in a deck now where tamers is a little harder to come by, I guess you could say, because you don't have that mat. Like it's not hard to come by.
Because I can't loop, and because I have to play the game a little bit fairer.
Right. So I had to make sure I had like double tamers on board all the time. So if you were to pop on, all right, cool. I still have 8 tamer on board to do my stuff. And I think game 1, I had a medieval Gallon on board that actually helped me a lot in it. So it stopped their shenanigans. Slow down. He ended up deal with it, no problem. Because Dexter Gora is very the word I'm looking for. Very offensive and defensive. It's very mid-range. Like you can deal with shit on board. You don't have to worry about medieval really. But you can accidentally pop it though, stuff like that. I think Galamon came in clutch. Then game 2, he got me pretty fast. I had a slow start, I think it was. And then game 3, it was like the cracked hand of Uko, Louis plus promo. It was like the searcher Uko plus promo Uko and Louis, and off rip in turn. So that was my turn 1, turn 0, 1, 2. So my turn 2, I'm down to 3 security immediately. And then like I had a pop off turn, put him to 0 immediately, and then I lost steam. I thought I was gonna lose straight up because I was like, I had nothing to like do anything right now because Dexter Gora just popped off. He killed the only tamer I had on board that was purple, and I was like, oof. I don't know if I can make this comeback Fortunately for me, he didn't have like a piece or something, and I was able to like beat him and like a couple turns after that, and ended up winning. And then for a TBL real quick, just because we don't have much locals, played against Imperial. Imperial always has an issue against Purple Harbor. Even with Purple Harbor being hit, Purple Harbor was still doing Purple Harbor shenanigans against it and had like no problem dealing with it. And so it's good to see that certain matchups still feel pretty good.
You know, I'm about to try some wonky shit, and it's probably not going to work. But you were talking about tamers, has me sitting here like, man, if I play Digimon, I really don't want to face no motherfucking tamers. How can I deal with these motherfucking tamers? You know what I think the answer is? We play some Breakdramon and some Examon X in Dynamon. I think that's the real spice. I think that's how you play. I think that's how you play Examon, or Examon X, I should say. No, I literally mean Examon X. I don't think he's good in his own deck. I really don't. But in Dynamon, I think that's the spice. I don't know about it either, but we gonna see. Speaking of TBL, yo, we just made this fire ass announcement. I know people are gonna see this a little bit late, but if you're watching this, you should totally check out that video. No, as a matter of fact, I got you. I'll tell you right now. Yo, TBL, Brands Warfare. You a WWE fan? You already know what it is. You know what it was when I said Brand Warfare. Yo, listen. Me, the GM of TBL Ignition. Dan, GM of TBL Overdrive. We've got our champions, not just yet. I'm sure by the time this comes out, by the time this comes out, there's most likely going to be a new champion crowned tonight. So make sure you tune in 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and find out who's going to be the inaugural TBL Overdrive Vaccine Surge champion. Did you know that if you become the champion, you get free entry to every TBL? Every TBL, as long as you're the champion. Free. For free! Or you could be the Virus Break champion. That's a thing too. Either one, it doesn't matter. Best of all, we're going to hold monthly PLEs. If you don't know what a PLE is, it's called a premium live event. It just means that if you support us, if you're a YouTube member or a Twitch subscriber, you will be able to watch these. Or
for those old heads, a PPV,
or a pay-per-view. A pay-per-view. If you're a YouTube member or a Twitch subscriber, you'll get to watch these matches. These matches are strictly just for you guys. We're going to put some time and effort into these matches, into the branding, into the actual production of the matches.
Correct.
And this is a way of trying to give something to you guys to thank you for supporting us, but also for us to have a little bit of fun with it. Because let me tell you, I'm excited as all hell. We get to make some fucking PLEs like fucking TBL. No way out. Who's going in as the champion and who's not going to find their way out? Or we got, what was it? Digimania. It's the Tamers event of the year. And we got, what was another one? Fucking, there was something to do with Gallon. It's something to do with Gallon. I can't remember, but there's so many themes. I'm like super excited to mess with, like, just photoshopping shit and making like promotional materials. Like, I made championship belts. First of all, them shits look fire. I made some promotional materials. I was sitting down the other night. I made us some fire ass logos for Ignition and Overdrive. I'm like, man, fun with this shit. So super excited to be able to bring this to you guys. Gives us a little bit more juice to put into TBL. So make sure you check that out. Wednesday and Friday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I almost said Central. Check out the video if you want more information. Anyways, I got a rant to go on. Dan, let me ask you a question. Do you think that you absolutely need a secret rare to top in this game?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because I'm that good.
Okay.
All jokes aside. Hey, yo, someone's gonna be like, that guy Dan is trash. I don't want to hear anything about him.
That's the same guy who has always got an excuse for getting his ass busted.
yeah. Hey, it's from a guy who, 4 weeks in a row or 3 weeks in a row, terrible locals, But all jokes aside, no, I don't think you need a secret rare in this game at all. Actually, it really depends on the deck. It's very deck dependent. Most decks don't need secret rares per se. Most secret rares are very tech choices, like Dexmon, Medieval Gallimon, Shine Brew Mode, were not our cards that were more meta relevant, meta dependent, I should say, and are more tech choices. Now you have other decks who are very secret reliant. Magna X comes to mind. Gallant X comes to mind. Currently now Royal Knights, but Royal Knights is its own.
I was gonna say Royal Knights
is a very outlier,
deck.
Completely different animal when it comes to this conversation. And those decks, just because the way the deck was centered around was around those secret rares, and those secret rares were needed to make those decks actually good. And it's it's just how it is. But if you look at a lot of top decks, they didn't really necessarily need those secret rares, aka let's go back a little bit, Numamon, because that's a pretty prevalent deck in my opinion. Recently, prior to hits, did it really need Dexmon and Shine Brew Mode to win a regional? No.
No.
You have it there as a tech choice because you have the luxury and room to have it if you really want it. Even those other versions that ran Zortifi. Zortifi is another secret, obviously. And again, I never once ran Zortifi in my Numamon decks. And as someone who ran Dexmon and Ruin Mode in my own Numamon decks, I could easily take those cards out and added something else just because, but I just like those cards in because I thought it worked really well with how the deck worked. But man, you could easily see a top 16 without those cards in the deck. No problem. And have all super rares. A lot of these decks, if you really look at it, if you really look at the ban list of Digimon, what are probably the most common cards to get hit? They're probably more uncommon and rares, because those are really the more power cards in the deck, because the way our decks are made, those are the ones that lets you go into those crazy combos. You know what I'm saying? Jet Sylphie was a rare or uncommon?
That bitch was an uncommon.
Exactly my point. She was uncommon. One cost Evo, let you free recovery that lets you get into the big power plays, right? You know what I'm saying? There was so many other cards. Greymon X is a uncommon or common, whatever it was.
And people don't want him to come back.
Yeah. Numa X is a rare. You know what I'm saying? The other strong cards in that deck was a Monze X. That's a common or uncommon. The RB Monzemon is a rare. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get my drift? Like, there's so many decks in this game that don't need secret rares. Leviamon now is a current top because it ran Brew Mode. Does not need it. It's a tech choice. And sometimes you kill someone too fast anyway, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? What else?
6 checks with big old Croc, man. That's pretty damn
Imperial
tough.
Dramon does not need any secret rares at all. Right? What else? Takuyamon, no secrets.
No, they run Ruin Mode.
Okay. You don't need to, because
you don't need to run Zuru.
That's R.
Ancient Garu, they don't run any secrets.
No, none.
Though they could run Ruin if they wanted to.
Right. We keep going down the list. So, like, the game is not predicated on if you need a secret rare. Does it help? Sure.
So, I know somebody's like watching this and they're like already typing out their response. I want to implore you to stop typing and hear me out for the next like 15 minutes while I soapbox. This really like pissed me off when this comment. So this comes from Reddit. Somebody asked, can normal decks survive without secret rares? He said, me and my friends are having so much fun with the game, but we have one problem so far, is the secret. Most of the SRs are already offering super powerful combos and playstyles, but secret feels way too OP and literally giving a pay to win vibe. Is it true that every viable deck requires secret rares? I really love the game and hope to see it succeed in the long run. I hope they are somehow able to manage control and control power creep as well. This
Can
also feeds in.
can I make one more statement before we go on soapbox real quick?
Good.
For that comment, for that very specific part that says secret rares are too powerful. Does anyone remember from BT1 all the way to BT
9?
All right, my fault. BT9. All right, I forgot Dexmon came out 9.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything go BT1 to BT8. Both secret rares were trash. BT1 secret rares, for example, because that's a combo for us. Because English version is 1.0 to 1.5. The secret rares in those were Metal Greymon, which is a cool card, but like it never saw real play outside of Machine
okay
Demon.
back then.
Yeah, but it was still,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was okay.
Digimon, trash. No one ever played it. Even an OG 04th, that was like a one of. Beelzemon is a good card at that time, but it was
okay.
very niche at that time the way to play because there wasn't that much milling, so it was very hard to get to that. What else we got? The Green Imperiumon, trash.
Black War Gray, my boy.
Black War Gray, that one was trash, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I think those were it at that time.
Probably the most relevant
and then later on
card.
was Ultra S. That was the only good one at that time. I just named 5 of them. They were all meh. Ultra S was probably the first real good one, right? Then you move along, right? You get into, what was it, BT4? What was BT4's
the Ancients and Lucemon.
Trash. All right, let me rephrase. They weren't trash.
Ancient
Garu was solid.
That was an OTK deck, and Ancient Garu, it was a punch deck.
You did things, and then Lucemon, you play it and recover. At that time, it was
a big thing for Lord Nightmon, but at like 1.
Exactly. BT5 came around. All right, cool. We got the Omni X, the first Omni X, right? And then Zord Defeat.
Zord Defeat.
2 really strong cards. But even then, they were like, it wasn't needed to play. You didn't need those cards to play those decks. Because Omni X was mainly for Greymon dot deck. And then the Zord Defeat was in niche ass weird decks most times until it became that black, Royal Knights deck. That was probably like the one that was like the most regular style deck at that point, right? And then you move on forward, right? Let's speed run. BT8 was probably the most
Bielstar,
trash.
Lucemon Chaos Mode, Susanoo, Creepymon, Paladin Mode.
Yeah. Those last 2 dog shit. Those things never got played at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Creepymon is still okay.
Right. BT9 or Yukin and Dexmo was probably like the big.
Susanoo was good, but it was really just abused in yellow hybrid. Realistic.
Yeah. Especially for us because we didn't have blue hybrid shenanigans.
Yeah.
And that style where they went, MDF for free,
But like, to your point, there was a whole handful, not even a handful, like a whole like nice size bucket of secrets. And you could probably just fish 3 out. And then like, as long as you pull those 3, you're good. If you don't pull any other ones, you're good. Because if you pull the other ones, they're trash. Because then you get to BT9 and you get the Dexmon and you get the Oryukin.
Right. And even after that, because BT10 secrets were like, man, that was a Shoutmon King mode, right?
Jesmon GX was okay.
Okay, that's a good card. A good card, but then you had the King version. It's like, man, right? BT11 was, what was BT11?
Galactic and Rena.
That's trash. You know what I'm saying? Rena is a very specific card for a very specific deck
archetype
that you're only ever going to see ever once in that deck. That was a 4 of. It's a very strong card for its own deck, but you never saw it in anything else, obviously. And then the other one was Galactic, which is strong card in itself, but like it never saw real play, right? Like that was like a $5 secret rare or something like that,
Oh, we forgot about EX1 and EX2, which was Crimson mode,
Machine Dramon,
Blast mode, and Machine Dramon.
Machine Dramon is the best one out of the bunch, and the deck is, rogue tier for life, unfortunately. So it's like, we're going to move forward. It took a long time for secrets to be consistently really good, I feel like, until maybe BT15 with APOC. Because that was double good. triple good if you want to put Quantum in it. Quantum plus
Yeah.
APOC plus Metal Guru. APOC is,
I guess
you know,
if you
crazy.
don't look at like BT13 because of Royal Knights as a deck.
Yeah. We have to throw Royal Knights on the side for that.
Because again, it's such a different deck.
Yeah.
Can't really like look at it. I'd
and then
agree.
BT14 was War Greymon with, what was the other one?
Angemon. Yellow
Cool.
Vaccine.
You
it
know
was
what I'm saying?
good.
Cool.
It was
You know,
good.
it was like, all right.
The Angemon, but yeah, APOC. I mean, so Dexmon
changed the game.
changing. APOC
Metal Guru was cracked card too.
Metal Guru was really good. I agree.
Yeah.
And then we get to like BT16, and now you've got Rapid and Magna. 17, Fenry, and the Greymon, which, you know, that Greymon does things for a couple decks.
It's cool, but not really, you know, anything too crazy. And then, you know.
Then we had basically 2.0, which was the conglomeration of Susanoo, Chaos Mode, and Zed. And then 2.5, which was
that fell off.
Zafaga, and OmniX, right?
Two of them are meh. Let me rephrase. Zavaga's not meh. It's a good card. The other one's
good, but clearly it's not, you know, Omni fucking X. And then in 21, we're getting Gaiamon and what the fuck is the other one? I don't know. Oh, and Tai. Which, I don't know. Based on like what I've been hearing about Adventure, that shit might be busted. So who knows what that might do with like the prices of ties. If everybody's looking to play Adventure, everybody's looking to get ties. If it's just such a generically good engine, you know, all those sort of things. All right. This topic comes from obviously that Reddit post, but also Mario made I was watching one of his comment videos, and one of the comments was the person was frustrated with having to spend air quote, and I'm really gonna put this in air quotes because I don't necessarily agree with this, with having to spend so much money to buy a certain card to play the game. I can't remember like what the exact comment was, so I don't want to butcher it. It was I think it was like one of his most recent comment videos. So if you want to watch it, go watch it. But the general gist of the comment was that they would rather take their money and spend like $90 on a Switch 2 game, because if you didn't know, Switch 2 games are confirmed to be 70 plus. I think it's $80 for fucking Mario Kart. And he'd rather take his money and spend that money on a video game rather than spend that money on cardboard. Which, for what it's worth, I'm not shitting on that. You know, you spend your money in the way that you see fit. If you don't like spending so much money on TCGs, then don't do it. Straight up. You know, I agree with that. I spend money on TCGs. I do think about it sometimes. That's why I sold off all my yellow cards, because I was like, man, I spent mad ass money on these cards just for them to sit in my binder. I'm not playing these, and I don't think I'm ever going to play these based on all these other decks I'm playing. I'll get rid of them. But the one thing that I do take problem with is like this concept of like, oh my goodness, I have to spend money to play the game. I have to spend all this money to play the game. This ties into the post. Medieval Gallantmon is a really good card. There is no doubt about it. That is unquestionable. It is, I said this to Dan in the beginning, I think it's arguably a better card than Dexmon, which price justifies effect to that extent, right? I believe the last time I checked, Medieval Gallantmon was at like $100 base rarity. So I don't even want to know what alts are at. Yeah, it's at $105 base rarity. The price justifies the effect, right? It is a good card against every deck. It is bad against none, relatively speaking. Unless you can really thrive off of not playing a Digimon out, you know, Medieval. That being said, would I tell, actually, let's rewind it, right? Would I tell this person on Reddit, yeah, you need to buy Medieval in order to compete at the highest level? No, the fuck I would not. No, I'm gonna look y'all straight in the camera and say no. Medieval is a really good card, and if you can afford $100, $200 right now for this card to compete at the highest level, go ahead. But am I going to tell you that if you want to play the game competitively, and you're like, I don't necessarily want to spend even $100. I just want to buy a deck for $100. I don't want to buy one card for $100. Would I tell you to go spend money on medieval fucking Gallant or Dexmon or Ruin Mode or any other secret rare? No, the fuck I wouldn't. Would you tell somebody that they should go buy the 60? No, it's not even 60 because the last time I heard that shit was like at $100. Would I tell you to go buy $100 Shadramon promos to play Virus Imperial? Would I tell you to go buy fucking $40 SR Hexablau to play Galaxy? Would I tell you to go buy $40 fucking SR Pyodramon to play Blue Green Imperial? No, the fuck I would not. And let me tell you why. Because if I look at this list of topping decks from California 330, this was 2 weeks ago as the time of this recording. Blue Green Imperial, they're playing a medieval Gallantmon that they absolutely the fuck do not need to play. Does it help them? Absolutely. But do they need to play it? No, the fuck they do not. Leviamon, playing one singular Ruin Mode. Do they need it? Absolutely the fuck not. Royal Knights, that's a different deck. Virus Imperial, I think they might have been playing a Ruin Mode if I'm not mistaken, but do they need to play it? Absolutely the fuck not. Gallantmon, that's a deck that's predicated on its secrets. So yeah, they're gonna play it. Galaxy, you can play whatever the fuck top end you want to play in that deck. Right. You are not locked into playing anything that you don't want to play. You can have fun with that deck. Sakuyamon, they play 2 Ruin Mode and 2 Valder Arm because that's basically the staple setup. One lets you aggro and play, punch face, checks, basically OTK. The other one lets you play, I can't necessarily pull that off. I'm going to go Ruin Mode and knock my opponent out the game. And 3 Great Angels. I don't even think this one was even playing anything. No. Oh, sorry. This one was playing 2 Medieval Gallantmon, which for what it's worth, doesn't digivolve natively. You just hard play it, right? Generally, this deck would have played Ruin Mode, but it's playing Valder Arm in its place. And this is what frustrates me, because Valder Arm is such a good card. It's only in SR. If you don't know what this card does when digivolving, it's on green and yellow for each of its level 6 sources. Suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers and gain a memory. So it's going to be a 4-cost digivolve. Then none of their Digimon or Tamers can activate on play effects or unsuspend until the end of their turn. That is not Ruin Mode level of good, because obviously the neg 5 is a big thing. And Ruin Mode end of attack, you get to pop itself, do another neg 5, kill a Digimon. This is still really good. It's less cost than Ruin Mode at 4 or 3 if you're playing it in Sakuyamon, and then you gain back even more memory because of scrambles and shit. But it's a really good boss monster. And Sakuyamon can most definitely get away with not playing Ruin Mode. And Vaccine can definitely get away with not playing Ruin Mode. And every deck that I named that was not named Gallantmon or Royal Knights could have topped that tournament without playing a secret rare. Now, what you're going to come to me and what you're going to say is what everybody was saying to me in the comments, which I heavily disagree with, in that, but obviously they were playing a secret rare, so if I want to compete against those decks, I need to play a secret rare myself. No, I think that's the wrong mentality. I think if that's the mentality you have, I'm not going to hold you. I think you have a skill issue, straight up. Let me put it in this way. The one thing that I said in this thread, I'll read the comments later. The one thing that I said was, if these secret rares were being played at such high copious levels, then, it's a different topic. But we're talking about Leviamon playing 1 Ruin Mode. To which the person said to me, but the decks cycle a lot. They're going to see, they're one of. Let me tell you something. Let me fucking tell you something. You could play this game and your RNG could be completely fucked and you could still never see that card, no matter how much cards. Dan, you play Purple Hybrid. How much draw power do you have and you might not see that Velgarmon that you play at 4, or you might not see your Duskmon or your other key pieces?
Unlimited draw power. Just to still
you got Ukomons, right?
Yeah.
You got search power. You got search power in Ukomon, and you've got draw power by virtue of what your deck does. And you still struggle to see your pieces because that's the way the game is played.
Sure.
My point is not that I don't want, you know what? I'm probably gonna name this video how to start competing, or the beginner's masterclass to competition or something, because I want every new player to know. I want you to know with every fiber of my being that if you want to compete in this game, I truly do not believe that you need to play secret rares to win. What you should focus on is taking a deck, playing it without those secret rares, get better at the game, and then figure out, oh, I would like to shore up this weakness of my deck. I would like to do this with my deck. I would like the ability to respond to this with my deck, right? The person that I'm responding to, his comment was, define viable. If you are talking topping regionals, competitive tournaments, etc., then yes, almost every deck has a few right now. Locals depends on the scene. My response was no, not every viable deck requires secrets. Everybody says this, which perpetuates the, oh, I need to pay to win, which is not true. OP, to answer your question better, you don't need secrets, but a lot are very powerful cards and they make any deck better for including them. If you look at recent regional results, you'll see a lot of decks playing secrets, but at 1 to 2, they're not absolutely required. They are tech choices dependent upon how you want to build a deck and shore up your deck's weaknesses. I named some examples, and then I named some that are bad examples. Now that one was upvoted. This person responded and said, I never said you need them. I said it depends on what level of competition, and that most, not all, most will run a few at higher levels. You literally made my point. Most decks topping high-level competitions have a few secrets because of how powerful they are. There is a reason decks with no color synergy run medieval in it because that powerful, which is not my fucking point. That is not my point. I'm not saying that they're not. I fucking said that they're running secrets. My point is that you don't need to run those secrets. If you can afford them, if you have them, you run them. But if you are budgeting, if you just want to try out the game, if you don't have medievals and you don't want to pay $100 for medievals, don't run them. I'm imploring you, don't spend that money. Don't listen to these people. You know, I mean, take my advice with a grain of salt. Play the game for yourself, but I'm telling you, you can enjoy this game competitively without spending money. Dan, how much do you think Galaxy costs to build?
Probably not
Base,
much, $50.
Without the top end.
Without medieval Gallimon, $50 probably.
So Coinsio is probably your most expensive card because it's a rare. Probably. I'm saying it's probably. I'm not saying it's definitive. Just probably. Just by virtue of it being a rare. That is a 14-cent rare. 14 cents rare, however you want to pronounce it. Chronomon, 13 cents. And Lunamon is probably 10 cents or some shit. I don't see it. I don't know where it is. Your engine for Galaxy is so cheap. It's 19 cents. You can build you can build the core of the deck for what? Probably all in
$20?
Not even. That's too much. I would say like maybe $10, half of that, right? Now, obviously, once you start adding SRs, and if you're going to play dual color memory boost, because I believe Wisteria is at least a couple dollars. Let's see, how much is Wisteria? Wisteria is $6. So, all right, you play this topping list is playing only 2 Wisteria for what it's fucking worth. 2 Wisteria, 2 Scrambles. So that's probably like, I want to say another $15 to $20. So that's $30 for a consistency and deck core. And then it's your flavor of, what do I want to play? Do I want to play Dinomon? Do I want to play Volcanic and Metallic? Which, for what it's worth, I know those cards are more expensive now because EX7 cards are all the hot commodity all of a sudden. But because of how generic this deck is.
The one of Mirage is probably cheap as hell now.
the one of Mirage is dirt cheap. It is all of $250. It's not dirt cheap, but it's $250. So it's still not bad. Do you need to play Hexablow? No. Is Hexablow a good card? Yes. Do you need to play it? No. Invisimon. Let's see how much he is. Oh, wonderful.
$10?
He's 75 cents.
Oh, wow. I thought it would have like shot up just because in one world.
The alt did, but the base rarity is all of probably like $1 with shipping, which means At worst, you can play 4 Invisimon in this deck because obviously it's a good card. Apollomon, cheap. Yeah, sure, you won't play Medieval because that's $100 card, but you don't need to play Medieval. This deck can still do things without Medieval. You know what you can play instead? You play Ancient Garu because that card is disgusting. Ancient Garu, that is a $4 SR. Ryugumon, that's probably 50 cents. It is $1 for Ryugumon. All of these cards that I'm naming.
Digimon, Paladin mode Ace as well as
Paladin mode Ace. That's probably like $15. It's $12. It's not that bad. The list I'm looking at, obviously, this one's going to be expensive because they're running Omni X, a Gallant X, and 2 Medieval Gallantmons. And the entire point, the reason I'm so heated, the reason I'm so upset is because people will direct a player, go look at topping lists and build that. But you don't have the context of why this deck why this deck works, what goes into this deck. And not enough new players understand that. So why are we perpetuating that you should be spending $100 because the topping lists are running the cards? That is so wrong. I'm not saying that you shouldn't if you can. I'm saying you shouldn't if you don't know. Are you gonna tell somebody, Dan, you're not a car guy, but, well, you're not that big a car guy, but you come to me, as a matter of fact, even better, your computer that because he needs a better computer. Dan comes to me and he's like, yo, I need a computer. All right, Dan, what are you looking to do? I'm looking to do some content creation. Maybe I'm gonna play some games here. If you guys know computers, am I gonna tell this man to go out and spend, I can't know prices off the top of my head, but
or something like that.
Yeah, like a fucking, I wish I knew the processors because I don't know what the latest gen is, but let's just say a 9800X 3D, which is probably, I don't know, maybe $300. And would I tell him that, oh yeah, you probably want to get your hands on like a 5070. Now those graphics cards are hard to come by because, we're in scalper times, but you could probably get one for like $700. No, absolutely not. I just told him to spend $1,000 on 2 computer components. He still has to buy a case, a motherboard, RAM, storage, probably a monitor, keyboard, mouse, desk. No, absolutely not. You know what, Dan? You know what I did for Dan when he said that to me? I said, you know what? Let me look on Facebook. Let me see what I can find you on Marketplace. That's cheap. That's good. That's still up to today's standards. I was finding computers specced out with like Ryzen 5600s, and I want to say like probably 3060 Ti's and 3070s, 3000 series graphic cards. I know I'm speaking nerd to a lot of you right now. 3000 series is 2 generations behind the current generation. 5000 series came out this year, 4000 last year, 3000 came out the year before, or maybe the year before that, if I'm remembering correctly. But those cards are still really fucking good. The 3090 still goes for $1,000+ because it is used for AI development. 3080s are still about $400 because they're that good. 3070s, you can get them for about $200 to $250, and 3060 Ti's you can get for about $150 to $200. They're cheap, but they're really good, especially if you don't give a fuck about playing Cyberpunk 2077 on a 3440 by 1440p screen at 144 hertz with every fucking setting turned up to max while you're fucking doing all this wild ass shit on the side. Like, no, I'm not gonna tell him that. So why are we gonna tell players who don't know anything about the game to spend $400 on fucking secret rares? That is asinine. Asinine to me. And that is my point.
Not the way to go. Not the way to go.
That is what frustrates me. I just don't want people thinking that they need to, and there's people perpetuating that you need to. Not when you just want to start. Not when you're trying to get a hold on the game. If you were to get a coaching session with somebody, whether that's myself, which I don't coach anymore because I don't have time, whether that's Mario, because Mario coaches and I don't know who else does Digimon coaching, I'm sure the first fucking piece of advice that either of us would fucking tell you is, what are you trying to play? What are you trying to achieve? How much do you know? Do you know your game interactions? Do you know what your deck should be doing? Do you know your combos? I'm not telling, did I ask you anything about, well, what does your secret rare do? Did I ask you anything about like, well, what do you do if this, no, I asked you about your deck. You need to know how your deck works.
The real question is, what that wallet work like, you know what I'm saying? You have a wallet that's strong enough? Like, stop. That's how people are acting like that. You need your wallet, you need your credit
That's a
card on
fact.
deck or something.
That's
When
a
you don't.
fact. This game is not, this game is expensive, air quote, depending on what you want to play. And I really have to say it that way because, yeah, if you get into it because you like Imperial, I'm sorry, yeah, you're going to pay $160 for Pyodramons. That is just the way the cookie crumbles. There is nothing anybody can do about that. BT16 was a fucking shitstorm of a set in terms of distribution, and it is not getting any better. We can only hope for reprints. But if your favorite Digimon is fucking, Dan, give me a Digimon. You're gonna tell me fucking Greymon. If your favorite Digimon
Mamemon.
if your favorite Digimon is Mamemon, that's a fucking trash deck. Give me a better Digimon, Tyrannomon. We're talking about dinos. If your favorite Digimon is Tyrannomon, your Dinomon SR is $5, $6, and your Tyrannomon X promo is about $6. So $24.48. That's $48 in 2 cards, and you're building the rest of the deck for cheap. You're probably building the rest of the deck for another like $20. Shine Greymon, I think it was going up in price if I'm remembering correctly, but yeah, it's a $7 Shine Greymon SR. So that's $24. Everything else is dirt cheap. Marcus's are all dirt cheap. Your burst mode is only $2. If you want, you don't have to, but if you want to play Ruin mode, that's like 40, 50 bucks. And people who play Ruin mode in this deck typically play it at 1. 2, if you know they're playing a little bit more of a control playstyle, but Shine Greymon is much more of an aggro deck. And you can play however you want it without spending money on your Ruin modes. Now, paint this. You went to locals. You're getting a feel for the game. You're doing good at locals with your no secret rare having self. Good for you. You decide you want to enter a tournament. Let's say, what deck are they doing well with at locals, Dan?
Leviathan.
They're doing well with Leviathan, which is not the cheapest because Leviathan is a $13 SR, and then you have Leviathan X's to pick up at $7, but you're still building it for sub $100. You like Big Croc, though. You like the 7 Great Demon Lord. You like him just going chomp, chomp, chomp. That's your most expensive cards in the deck, not looking at secret rares. You have spent less than $100 on this deck, and you're doing well at locals, and you decide to go into regionals. All right, cool. You're playing the game. Now you're going to figure out, oh man, it's really tough when I come up against a can't play Digimon by FX Floodgate, or when I come up against, what's another tough matchup for Leviathan, Dan? I feel like it doesn't have too many tough it doesn't have too many tough matchups. But what can pose a problem is can't play Digimon by FX. I guess to an extent, can't gain memory. If you just so happen to not have it. I'm not really sure what else. And in that situation, you're like, all right, well, like, how can I counter this? I can give you at least 5 options of dealing with can't play Digimon by FX stuff before I even tell you about a Ruin mode. I would tell you to play a Ruin mode if you feel like you're not trying to play the aggro style, and if there's a matchup where you want to pivot from playing aggro AF to playing control. That deck will smack you the fuck up, right? Like 6 checks, and it's deleting Digimon, and it's deleting Tamers. Like, why do you need Ruin mode in that deck? You don't. Does it help? Yeah, sure, sometimes if you need it. Like, if you just so happen to not finish them out on that one turn, and you're just like, all right, well, I'll go into Ruin mode, and I guess I'll just lock you down for the next turn, right? Like it's a luxury to do that. It's not a necessity. It is not required for you to play Leviathan. That's my spiel. That's my thing. I care about newer players. I like seeing these questions when they're not sarcastic. I like answering questions because I know that when I was getting into TCGs, I had the same sort of questions, and there's so much to learn. And man, like, that's the way that I am in Grand Archive. Like, Grand Archive has a very big meta. There's a lot to learn about. And it's not easy to just pick up a new game and play, especially if you want to start playing competitive. I would hate to be told you have to buy X expensive card to play the game. You know what I can tell you? In Grand Archive, you do need to spend $80 on a playset of dungeon guides to play the game. from what I remember from the last time that I looked up, that is agreed on by everybody. That is a fact of the game.
But when it comes to a TCG, you should never go in asking yourself, how do I win a race? You should go in with TCG. If one, you like the game, Two, are you having fun with it? Are you know,
do you enjoy it?
Like the art? Do you like the mechanics? Stuff like that. Before you even consider yourself. Because like I could play Yu-Gi-Oh for $20 and have a good old time. No problem.
You playing Suships?
No, shut up. We're not playing that track. But like you can play, but I'm saying, but like the point is like you can play even Yu-Gi-Oh if you're not going into it competitively. Like why would I spend money on? I don't know what's the expensive card is right now. I know there's some coming out right now, but why do I need to buy 3 of it at $100 each when I'm not even going to be playing any region? Like don't even. That shouldn't be your first thought process. Sure, maybe you want to look at those deck lists just to get an idea of what they're working with. Sure, absolutely. But you don't have to be like, oh, like the Galaxy player you said, right? It had like Gallant X, Medievals, and
OmniX.
OmniX. Those are 3 secrets.
That's $400 right? In secrets alone, almost.
OmniX I think is like 40. Gallant X are like 40, and then Medieval is 100, right?
100 each, so 300.
You don't have to. That's not something you need, right? Why would you spend? If they're like 2 each minimum, right? That's probably, like you said, $300-$400 right there, right? If you're not looking to play, in a regional, why are you looking at those prices then? You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do that if you're not going. If you're going to locals, you want to, all right, cool, go to locals. That's a good starting spot. You still don't need those. And your first couple regional experiences, you still don't need them.
Yeah, I implore that too.
If you decide that you were like, all right, I want to take this seriously, I want to get into it, then that's when you should consider buying it. And maybe you still shouldn't even need to do that, right? Maybe look at a different style deck that's not like Galaxy, right? Or let me rephrase that specific Galaxy deck, right? And stay up with the times of cards, right? Because if you wait, right, my Medieval Gallimon was $40 when I got it. You know what I'm saying? Versus $100, right? If you're not with times and following when the set drops, and then all right, I know for a fact, day 1 of release day is probably gonna be the cheapest cards are gonna be. If you're not doing that, then that's on you. But if you're, if you're just against the game, then you should wait, because eventually, things will slow down. Medieval Gallimon won't stay at $100 forever. It will drop down to maybe 70, 60. And then maybe that's when you should pick them up. You know what I'm saying? It just really, as a new player, shouldn't be looking at how do I play this deck, and if this is a regional deck, I need to build what this person built. Saying that shouldn't be first thought.
Someone else commented and said this was further down the chain. If you want to compete at a high level in this game, you'll need secret cards. Simple as. There might be outliers in specific formats though, but generally you do. And in a competitive match, you're very unlikely to not. This was that comment I was talking about. Not playing any secrets will massively reduce your win rate. Simple as. That is, of course, not necessarily relevant if you're not actually going to compete seriously in events. Let me ask you, no, not you, Dan, but let me ask you this person who said this. Massively reduce your win rate. Can you give me the statistical number on what my win rate will be with Tsukuyumon if I opt to play 4 Valder Arm instead of 2 Valder Arm and Rune? Yes, in the mirror where it's pretty much 50-50 because you're playing based on skill, it could very well be decided because you got Ruin moded and you didn't have one, right? I can also tell you that in playing a Royal Knights mirror match, my opponent, who is playing as many OmniXs as I am, won because they saw OmniX and I did not. I saw 1, and then I think I had 2 in security. Woo! He had 3 in hand. Woo! That's the way the cookie crumbles. That being said, if he also didn't see his OmniXs, he would have been in the same spot as me, and we would have been playing the same game. The game is RNG. The game is only half, you know, your deck makeup. Yeah, there are definitely crucial cards you need to include, but I'm really not going to sit here and say that like you need secret rares to compete. I think I'm of the boat that is rowing all by itself over there with Dan is saying, yo, you can play this game and you can top without a secret for sure. And honestly, one of my goals this year now is to top without a relevant secret. The problem is there are just some secrets that are in archetype and good, which brings me to another comment that kind of infuriated. This person said,
hold on, wait. I would tell someone they need trainings and mem boosts way faster than I would tell them a secret any day of the week.
Yeah, for sure. This isn't Dragon Ball. You know, Dragon Ball, you have secrets that you literally only play at one because you're only allowed one in your deck. But yes, to play Dragon Ball, you absolutely need that secret because you are actively detrimenting yourself by not playing that secret because that's how good secrets are. We have really good secrets in Digimon, but that doesn't mean that you need to play these secrets. If that were the case, it's not most decks would be playing one. Every deck would be playing one, right? This person said, could you top without one? Yes. However, I can also say that someone could top with 3 Musketeers. However, the likelihood of doing so and being competitive drastically goes down. That is the worst example ever, because 3 Musketeers is not a good deck. What you're telling me is that if you spend $400 and you buy 4 medieval Galamons and you show 4 medieval Galamons and 3 Musketeers, that your chances of winning go up dramatically and that you should top a regional. Absolutely the fuck not. 3 Musketeers has an in-archetype secret in BL Star X. That it's such a null and void argument. That is not a good argument. The better argument would have been if you said something like
Pyramidimon, because that legit happened. Pyramidimon won a ulti cup with 2.
But that's because that deck was decent, you know? It doesn't have all of its support yet because it still needs a second line, but it was already a decent deck. Musketeers, it's just not a good deck. What you'd be better telling me, what the better example would have been, is something like Bloomlord. Bloomlord is relevant only because they have the ability to play medieval in today's day and age.
Or even Rapidmon now.
Which Rapidmon? The Digivolve one? Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you was talking about a specific card.
No, I'm saying that deck is kind of a little relevant again just because of Medieval Gala.
Right, because because the deck is generic for what it's worth. I mean, that's probably one of our best advanced decks because the green outside of veggies is just generically good. You got 4 ultimates that are just insane that give you protection and Digivolve, and then you can just go medieval right on top of it, swing into something with Vortex, and fucking trash the security. And then you still have Rapidmons and Rapid X's. Like, yeah, those are decks that are relevant because of medieval. I will agree with that, but like Musketeers was like the worst example you could have used. And then he goes on to say, if you don't run those cards, you're making it vastly more difficult to top events by not running these powerful cards, and on average will not be as competitive. So I said initially, it depends on the level of competition that you want to play at. If you want to play at the top, you want to run some. I don't get what you don't understand, because I told him I don't get what you understand. We literally have data that shows 21 out of 24 decks run secrets. The proof is in reality. If you want to top, you will most likely need secret cards. Also, running one-offs doesn't mean you'll barely see them. There's so much card draw and cycle in today's game, you'll most likely see them. Yeah, no. Yeah, sure, everybody's running one. And then like I said, I quite literally said it. If you can afford it, you should. But I'm not going to tell you that you absolutely 100% should spend money, especially not until you have a better grasp on the game, especially when you are clearly a newer player, when you have clearly said secrets feel way too OP. Like, that to me reads like, oh, you're green AF. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like, it means you're not just new to Digimon, like you're new to card games. And I want to scare you away. I don't want you out here thinking, damn, man, if I want to play I gotta go spend $200 on medieval Gallantmons, you know? Like, no. Like that's Dan, for us, that's kind of like Miles. Like Miles plays Pokemon. But like I know he sees the price of some cards and he's like, man, like if I want to play this deck, I gotta spend money on this on X so-and-so card. And it's like, here, I'll give you all these alternatives that you can play. And sure, yeah, he's playing at locals. He's not playing at a high competitive level. And I would still tell you if you, hey, Dan, I love Sukuyamon. Is that deck relevant in today's day and age? Unfortunately, yes, it is.
Sure.
Oh, okay, cool. Can you show me a deck build? Oh, here's one. Oh man, I need to spend $100 on 2 ruin modes. And then I gotta buy the rest of the cards. I gotta spend like $150 on this deck. My budget's like $70. I don't want to spend all that. Okay, well, buy all your core cards, and with whatever money you have left over, maybe you buy the one mode. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just run through Voldemort.
For sure.
That's all. That's it. That's the rant. You guys can let me know how you feel in the comments down below. Do you understand what I'm saying? Was I not clear? I know one of the biggest problems that I have, I can't really articulate myself through text. That's why we do a podcast. I'd write blog posts, but I can't damn well speak in text form at least. At least this way I can fucking talk out loud. I can riff off of Dan, get ideas, hear things. But man, I was so heavily agitated by that point of view because it's the wrong point of view. You know, obviously that's a opinion of mine, but that is the opinion that I hold true to myself. That no, you don't need Secret Risk play. I would love to top with Zafagamon. And you know how I would try to top with Zafagamon? Playing the cards that are meant for the deck in Zafaga Ace
like
and
3 medieval gals and 3 Zafaga Aces.
Right, the problem is, you know, if I top with Zafaga, he top because of medieval, which sucks. It's true, but it also sucks. So I'd be more inclined to top with something like Lilithmon, where I don't care to play Secret Rares in that deck. I know some people play Ruin Mode. I don't give a fuck about it. I want to play Lilithmon. And I felt last year, if I had more chances, I could have made a top 32 at the bare minimum with Lilith, for sure. Would I have been better off playing a Ruin Mode? Yeah, I could have. But, you know, if I wanted to like win, I would probably just play a different deck entirely, right? Like, I'm not playing Lilithmon because I'm like, obviously the goal is to come out here and win. When I was playing Examon, which deck that I play 4 secrets, and then I also played Dexmon in that deck. Yes, you know, the goal was to come out here and try to win, but like at the same time, it was like, all right, well, like we're playing to have fun. We're trying to get our invite, and then we got our invite and then some. Probably the most relevant deck for me coming up is going to be Atmon, which Gaiamon's a secret. So, you know, that's an unfortunate argument I can't use for myself. But probably the next best one is something like Medusamon. Yeah, I think that deck's really good. And you can get away with playing medieval. I think all of those inheriteds are pretty generic, right, for Medusa?
Kind of, sort of, but not really.
How so? Which one is locked? Or what's the most relevant one that's locked that you can remember?
Well, the egg is locked.
The egg is probably the biggest one.
The others is like gain a member when you trap.
You see, that's what I mean. Like those are generically good.
I don't remember what the low 5s are. Cyberjamon is plus 3k or plus 5k.
Oh, you're good, bro. It's when your opponent's security is removed from, you may play a reptile or dragonkin from your head, 5,000 DP or less. Sure. So, yeah, I mean, you can generically play any other red level 6s that you want.
I ain't playing medieval on that. He's gonna ruin it.
I know you're. I mean, you should play medieval. but
we're good. We don't need medieval.
But that's my point. Like, my goal now is to play something like Medusamon, where I can get away without playing secret. As much as you're. Here's the problem, right? Too. I was gonna say you're gonna want to run OmniX because that card is just too good not to, right?
Oh yeah.
Which then, you know, I can already feel it. See, you would play a secret rare. You would say that
for anyone that says rare. That you can easily run Blitz Omni. Same thing.
Right. Just run Blitz Omni. Obviously, OmniX is the better card. There is no doubt about it. I'm not disputing that. I am not disputing. And that's my whole argument. I'm not saying that if you if like that you shouldn't. I'm talking about new players, and I'm talking about the concept of being skillful before throwing mad money at a problem. If somebody, Frankie Muniz, that motherfucker is in like NASCAR or some shit right now. And half of it is because he's got money. But you also aren't racing in NASCAR if you don't have some sort of skill, because they're going 200 plus miles an hour, trying to keep cars in a straight line. And if you fuck up, you're taking people out with you. So you're not just making it there. It's not like top level NASCAR, but it's still racing at like a nationally known level. You're not making it there unless you have some sort of skill. And that's the point. Get better before you spend money. Don't tell players to spend money before they get better. And especially don't tell them that they need to spend money to try to start playing competitively, because your journey starts without spending all that money. As a matter of fact, that's the idea for a series, Dan. That's what we should do. With BT21 coming out, with store regionals coming up, we should start vlogging our journey, man. We should be like, all right, I'm about to hit up Dan. We're about to do some webcam testing. This is the deck I'm playing today. I decide this is the changes that I'm making. I'm not playing any secret rares because I have a point to prove. I'm trying to prove motherfuckers wrong. We hit up that store regionals. We're like, all right, bet. We just went 6-0 today. We running no secrets. Fucking lie. I'm not playing Medusamon unless I'm playing out. Straight up. But that's because it's just so fucking good. At minimum.
I'm throwing secret rare Greymon in. I'm going to throw
secret rare Greymon?
I'm just saying secret rare stuff. What else is the secret rare? Gallon X, medieval Gallon. Throw that in there while I'm at it.
You might as well. Hey, you might as well just play Greymon Tribal with Medusamon, you know?
I think I could fit in, Shine Rule mode somehow too, just because it's secret. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think,
I think. No, that's the thing. That's all I wanted to say. I just don't want people making. I don't want people making wrong decisions. I want you to make the right. We spent fucking I think I spent 40 minutes on that fucking soapbox.
Yeah,
at least. So
we're at minute 27.
You wanna wrap it up? Call it a day there. Short podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So that is it. This is going to be the beginner's guide to competing, the beginner's masterclass to competition. I think that's what we'll call today. So, hopefully for our next pod, we'll have another guest on. This one I don't think it's going to be our mic. I think it's going to be somebody who goes by the name of Cross, or at least Cross in another timeline he was going to be.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Might go by the name Cross Formato. Kind of rhymes with Michael Formato. I don't know. Not the same person. I can guarantee you that. But we'll be back here, same bad time, same bad place. So you guys are going to see this hopefully on time. I've been working on some stuff and I haven't had time to upload regularly. But we've had stuff in the works, so I apologize. Anyways, that is it for today's episode of DigiPod, the digital podcast. So, thank you guys for listening. Until we talk to you guys the next time. Peace out.